Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras has promised his government will submit credible reform proposals to its creditors on Thursday. Mr. Tsipras was speaking during a fractious debate on the Greek debt crisis in the European Parliament. Greece is desperate for a third bailout to avoid bankruptcy and possibly crashing out of the euro currency. Meanwhile, the Greek government has insisted that there is no threat to food and fuel supplies. In a statement, the Ministry of Economy, Infrastructures, Maritime Affairs and Tourism reassures both the Greek citizens and the visitors, tourists, that there are adequate food supplies in the market and that their prices remain stable. European leaders have set Thursday as the deadline for serious reform plans from Greece in exchange for more aid. An emergency summit involving all 28 European Union members, not just the 19 eurozone countries, will take place on Sunday. Greece would file new concrete proposals, credible reforms, for a fair and viable solution, Mr. Tsipras told MEPs. Earlier, he urged Europe not to succumb to division. Mixed reception. The left-wing leader was greeted by both boos and cheers as he entered the European Parliament, where he criticized previous bailouts for turning Greece into an austerity laboratory. Mr. Tsipras was speaking only days after the Greek people decisively rejected the latest proposals from creditors in a referendum. The Greek people stood up and were counted. We have to listen to what they said. Greece's failure to come up with new proposals at a eurozone summit on Tuesday angered several European leaders, and some of that frustration was reflected in the European Parliament debate. German MEP Manfred Weber accused Mr. Tsipras of insulting other European leaders. The extremists of Europe are applauding you, he said, referring to support from both left and right in Parliament. However, some MEPs displayed placards saying no, praising the result of the Greek referendum. Greece's creditors, the European Commission, the European Central Bank, ECB, and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, have already provided more than Euro 200 billion in two bailouts since a rescue plan began 5 years ago. Greece has meanwhile formally asked the European Bailout Facility, the European Stability Mechanism, for help. Sources say Athens is requesting a fresh 3-year loan in exchange for reforms. In addition, the ECB's Governing Council met and decided to leave its support for the banks at its current level pending a resolution of the Greek debt crisis. In an address in Washington on Wednesday, IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde reiterated that debt restructuring alongside a program of reforms was the only way forward for the stricken Greek economy. Greece is in a situation of acute crisis, which needs to be addressed seriously and promptly, she said. Greece's banks have been shut since its last international bailout program expired on June 30 and it missed an IMF payment. Capital controls mean people are unable to withdraw more than €60, £43, $66, a day from cash machines.